Out. Hey. So I am super excited about this segment. I have the one, the only Dr. Amanda Chan. And let me just give you the professional bio, and then we're just going to chop it up. We're going to talk it out. So, Dr. Amanda is a chiropractor who focuses on neo optimization. Her tools and strategies aim to help people regulate and optimize their nervous system. And we're just going to have a conversation about self care for entrepreneurs and really tapping into your business intuition, right? And using self care to do that. So, how are you today, Dr. Amanda?
I am great. Thanks for having me here.
I'm so super excited and I appreciate you. I know that you are super busy. So let's talk a little bit about you. Like, how did you get into this work? Like, when I read that bio, I'm like, that sounds hard.
Well, I always knew I wanted to help people ever since I was a kid, and I was drawn to the medical profession. But what I didn't know at the time was I'm pretty much allergic to everything in terms of medication that they can give you. Like, I react by being nauseous. So there wasn't a lot that I could keep down because I would just throw it up. And so I had to come up with ways, tools and strategies. And, I had to turn to natural medicine so that I could still, work on the different conditions and stuff that come up in life and different stressors. But I had to find a way that wouldn't cause my body to react so violently.
Wow. I am allergic to strawberries. And when I tell people that, they're like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, yeah, me too, because I like them. It's strawberries, right? And who can eat cheesecake without strawberries? Um, so yeah, I absolutely get that. So you are kind of like all of us, like you go into this business on this mission because of the impact that it had on you. I can only imagine just a fragment of what it's like. Like you said, you're allergic to everything. But from that, how did you keep going? How was that not like, fine, just forget it, I'm not doing anything? How did you use that as fuel to actually step into this work?
At some point in your life, I always say there's like the forks in the road, right? And then you decide, is this what I want for my life, or is there something more that I desire?
Mm.
And so you have to follow that little tiny voice at the beginning that says you're built for more.
Yeah.
And then follow that route in order to achieve what you want to go to.
I love that. That is powerful. I feel like that should be a shirt, right? Like, is this what I want for my life? Like, we need some kind of card or something that pops up just to help us realign every day. Is this what I want for my life, or do I want more? And I think I feel safe in saying that everyone who's here is having that moment right now. Like, is this what I want for my life, or do I want more? And so getting into that, how can we as women, as business owners, really navigate that with so many external, factors that kind of should all over us, what we should do, how we should be, the things we should focus on? How do we, as a form of self-care, really listen to our intuition? Like, how do we know? Because sometimes, like, what is it? Was that me? Was that, was that a random thought? Where did that come from? Like, how do we identify it?
So the voice of intuition is different from the voice of fear, right? Intuition tells you, lean it, go do this, go here, right? It's a gentle leaning in and saying, try this, do that. Fear is stop, don't do this, danger, 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 right?
Okay.
So if it feels like, okay, you're about to post something on social media and then it's like danger, danger, you have to see, is this a real danger? Like, is me posting, about my business on social media a danger? Probably not. Like, the computer is not going to come out of the screen and hurt you. Right? So that is the voice of something that is in your fear, right? And not into your guidance, intuition. Like, it's not leading you towards your desire. So you have to really get clear on what it sounds like to be led somewhere and like gently nudged versus like literally facing a lion or a tiger.
Okay. So with that, like I have so many questions. So with that, like, is there a way? So first, let me take two steps back. What happens like physically when you ignore intuition?
Well, most people feel it as stress, right?
Okay.
Because that's something that people can connect with, especially in
Yeah.
the last couple years with all the things going on. They might not know, okay, I'm not following my intuition. They just might feel it as stress,
Okay. Okay.
right? They might be like, okay, I'm sore here. There's tightness in my chest. There's anxiety happening. Um, those are all signs that you're not following, your intuition, because intuition is with ease and with ease. If you ever think back to, those key pivotal moments in your life, like it was go talk to this person, do this, and I have no idea why I'm doing this, but I'm doing this, right? And then it led you to another realization, and then to another, like another person or another opportunity,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't, okay, don't do that because you're scared. That led you.
Yeah. That, and see, that's the part that I think, especially again, we're talking about being pampered and paid. That's the part that I think just resonates really, really heavily with me. Like all of the things that we as driven women, women with a vision, like we're go, 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 or it seems like we're go, 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 but there's so much inside that's stop and go. That's, that's like, oh, should I, like a lot of hesitancy, like, but all of that stuff, I know it comes up in physical form. And when you were talking about it, one of the first things I thought about is when you get that pain in your neck and you're like, oh, ugh, and it's like to know that that's a sign to like what part of me am I not listening to? Because the intuition isn't just going to be about the business. It could be, hey, it's time to rest. Put that down, step away. Am I right?
Absolutely. I always look at pain as a signal that your body's trying to tell you something about your life. And it could be on the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual level. It's not trying to, it is trying to interrupt your life, but it's not there to like ruin your life.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you for that. No, but that makes so much sense because, and I know we've all been through it where, all of a sudden you have this pain, maybe you got a migraine or something like that, and it seems like everything is going on. And it's like that's a signal like, hey, maybe take yourself a couple steps back. Maybe I love that. That is so powerful. And so what's something that we can do daily that builds or strengthens our connection to our intuition or our ability to even identify it?
Well, one of the things is also to look at where that might have come from, right? Like where did you get your beliefs about success? Was it from your parents that said success has to be hard, or you have to work hard in order to be successful? Like those, because knowing where it comes from can help you say, all right, that's not me. It's actually not my belief. It's my
Yeah.
mom's belief, or my parents or somebody else, right? That's not me. And
Yeah.
where can you look at, all right, if success is hard work, then every garbage person, every nanny, every teacher would be a millionaire, right? Because they all work extremely hard.
Extremely hard. Yeah. Yeah.
So while hard work may be a component of success, it is not what leads you to success, right? So there can be different ways. You don't have to keep banging your head up on the wall saying, okay, I'm working hard and working hard until I burn out in
Yeah.
order to achieve what you desire.
Let me ask you this. What is your, so I like to ask people this question because it's interesting the answers that I get. What's your definition? And notice I said of hard work.
Well, I would say following my intuition and being able to go when you need to go, stop when you need to stop, and then, but still moving forward, because we're meant to move forward, right?
Yeah.
Life is always evolving, always growing. If you look at nature, if you look at the weed in your garden, it is always growing, and we are part of nature. So we're also meant to grow, right?
Yeah.
So you look at, all right, am I growing? And I'm working towards that growth. But we also have to balance that with the feminine and the masculine, the do versus the be and the receiving, right?
Yeah.
So success can also, and it could be hard work for some people to receive as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you have to look at both. There are times where you do have to go, and then there are times where you have to wait and receive.
How does perfectionism impact the ability to hear and feel intuition?
Well, perfectionism is a way that you don't listen to your intuition, right? Because if it has to be perfect, it has to be this way. Your intuition doesn't tell you it has to be perfect. Your intuition is you are already are worthy. You were born worthy. Nothing has changed, right? So you are already of value
Yeah.
because you're of worth,
Yeah.
right? Perfection means I need to be perfect before I show myself, before I do this thing, before I do that. That's the fear.
Yeah.
Perfectionism is I need it to be perfect before I do anything, which is fear, versus intuition is you already are worthy, just be you.
Yeah. I have told people for many years, and I always get this look that perfection is a myth. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, it's subjective. And so if it's subjective, if it's fluid, then it's not, it's methodical. It's a myth in that for you, like you can be like, this is perfect. For me, I can be like, no, we can change this, we can change that. So like, you know, with that, it I say that to give people kind of an out, a new perspective on perfectionism, because perfectionism is so heavy and it is so draining, and it's like running a marathon, and every time you get close to the finish line somebody moves it. Like, I'm not a runner, but that definitely would discourage me. That would definitely make me stop running, in addition to the fact that I'm not a runner. But when we operate like that, you mentioned worth and worthiness. I would love for you to talk a little bit about leaning into intuition around taking care of yourself, especially as a woman, and getting over using it as a reward. You know what I mean? Like, how often do we say, okay, once I finish this thing, then I can rest? Or, I'll get a massage once I reach this goal. Like, can you talk a little bit about that?
I look at it as, what if you rested and your goal suddenly appears for you,
That would be
right?
amazing.
But
I
if you
signed you
don't
up for
try
that.
that, if you don't see it as that way,
Yeah.
then it'll never happen. But what if you flipped it and said, the more restful I am, the more energy I have to give,
Wow.
right? Instead of trying to go and chase, like no one wants, my kids don't want to be chased. They run away like screaming when you chase them, right? You don't want to chase your goal. What if your goal came to you, but you needed to be your best self? In order to be your best self, you need to be rested, right? You need to take care of your body. You need to, feel your mind, feel your emotions, feel your spiritual side. And from there, your business can explode because you were giving from the full cup from the
Wow.
abundance.
That's powerful. And that is certainly not a perspective that, especially as business owners, that we are taught to chase, right? We're taught to chase in the doing, like, you got to have all the things. It feels like, if you've ever seen those artists that spin plates, it feels like that. And like the anxiety of, oh, if I drop one, that's what we're taught. I often talk about, when I came into the online space, laptop lifestyle was a phrase that we always heard. Now that I've been in this for 12 so years, I understand, though, like the words were very powerful. Like, it is a laptop lifestyle because I was tethered to it. I was chained to it. And I'm like, this is not what I thought we were doing. But those were the processes that were taught. Like, you had to be on all the platforms, and at the time maybe it was 3, it's probably like 50 now. Like, you got to show up on all the things. You got to build this, and you got to have this list, and you got to put out this amount of content, and you got to, and like, for those of us who are not very rhythmic, like trying to dance on TikTok was stressful. Like, I'm like, this is so much. And so, going back to what you said about the doing, I was that. I was that. And I know several of our viewers and those who are in attendance are stuck in that, and tending to nor the being to feel like again, like like we have had to prove that we want our goals. Where does that come from? That I need to prove that that you want it bad enough. Like, why can't we take a nap and want it?
Well, I mean, you looking further back, we have to see where mentors used to be, right? Like I know for myself, growing up, a lot of mentors tend to be more male, right? And the
Mhm.
male energy, not actually male, but male energy. And so they push the doing, doing, doing. And so that gets into your nervous system. And so that's what you think is right. So, and then you can look at some of the more feminine ways of doing it, of the being. And so it really looks, which is kind of starting to emerge now, right? You see a lot of successful women and they don't have to push, right?
Yeah.
Success can be easy. And when people are showing you and leading you the way and doing that and being an example of it, it creates that possibility for all other women in business to do the same.
Yeah. I love that. So we've talked about a lot of things. Let me bring it in. What's 2 to 3 steps that our audience and me that we can implement every day or consistently to make sure that we are listening to ourselves for self-care, for business, for just life and living well? What are 2 to 3 things that we can do to make this a new habit for us?
One of my favorite tools is actually just breathing, like just focusing on the deep breathing, and you can
I
do
can
it
do
from
that.
anywhere, right? Like, and everyone does it all day anyway. You
Yeah.
breathe, right? So
Okay.
literally taking a moment to check in with your brain. Hey, are these thoughts going fast? You know, like when you're feeling like you're rushed to something, where am I rushing to?
Yeah.
Right? And then just
Yeah.
take the deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's a calming breath, right? It signals to the nervous system to slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
So what happens is your brain, when it's in the fight or flight, in the amygdala state, it's going, danger, danger, right? Literally sounding the
I know
alarm.
that. Yeah, I know that state.
Your parasympathetic nervous system has different access to different information. So you can access like logic, will, like creativity, right? If you're in the fight or flight, you're just thinking about running away. Do you want to run your business from a state of fight or flight, stress, running away from something, or from logic, creativity, reason, will? You want
Yeah.
those factors and those faculties. And so in being stressed, you're actually not allowing your nervous system to access the faculties that you would want to run your business from.
Wow. That's so simple. Like, you don't have to make a reservation to breathe.
No, you don't have to make a reservation to breathe. You can breathe. And then
Yeah.
for women, the second thing is boundaries. Boundaries are an act of love for others and for yourself.
Wow.
It doesn't make you bad to set a boundary. So self-care, set boundaries for yourself. Okay, I work from this time to this time, and that is my boundary,
Yeah.
right? I spend time with my family from this time to this time, and that is my boundary. Okay. Obviously, for short periods of time, you have like an event coming up that changes, but priorities change for
Yeah.
a short amount of time. But in general, setting boundaries is a huge one.
Yeah. I I think that's both of those are very powerful self-care tools. And again, we chatted a little bit about my self-care. And for those of you who were not privy to that, I'm going to share. I have a big ugly chair in my office and it allows me to just, recline, and it's like creaky and but it feels like it feels comfortable to me. And that's my form of caring for myself every day is I'm going to sit in that chair at some point throughout the day. I'm going to sit in that chair and I'm going to be able to recline and put my feet up. And, I'm probably going to have a critter for fur baby or something come join me against my will, but that's fine. But it's the little things. What that part, can you talk a little bit more about that as far as the neural optimization, those little things? Because we always think about self-care as some grand gesture. But talk a little bit more about just the day-to-day things. You've given us 2 very good points, but where can we see throughout our days where we're not implementing the self-care and we can do a simple tweak to change that?
Well, the breathing was one. Getting out, movement is another, right? The movement of
Yeah.
your body changes your state. Going out for nature, for a walk in nature.
Yeah.
The main thing we need to remember is that it's in those quiet moments that your intuition speaks the loudest,
Wow.
right? Because there's so many things to hear
Yeah.
when you're going about your day. And if you don't create space for your intuition to speak, how can you receive what it needs to do, right? What you need to
Yeah.
know. And that following your intuition in just one thing will skyrocket your business.
Wow.
So it is an act of self-care to take the pause, yes, but giving the pause will actually grow your business.
Wow. And that's such a perspective change, isn't it? Like we're thinking like you were saying, I just keep envisioning you chasing your kids and they're like, of course they're gonna run because you're chasing them. Like it's like that is so simple. And essentially that's how we've been doing business. We've been chasing the goals and even doing life. We're chasing the thing and the thing is running away. Like, whoa, that's aggressive. You're coming in way too hot. Like
Yeah.
and so early on you said, resting, if we change our perspective and embrace resting as the fuel to get what it is that get to where and get what it is that we want in our business, it can totally change things. That's powerful. That is so not the norm of how we've been trained to think. And I go back to being in school and it's like if you do all of your homework and all of your this and you're gonna get it. It's like we're always working to get a good grade. And like that doesn't matter. Like I've never met anyone who's like, "Did you get an A in algebra? Oh, I can't be your friend." And so we've continued with that energy, that striving. That's the word I've been looking for, that striving. And there's nothing wrong with, being tenacious and driven as long as you don't drive over yourself, right? In the
And
process.
and honestly, if you are burning out, that doesn't help anybody, right?
No.
Women are such giving people, and they're in like a lot of women build a business because they have this big desire to serve, to help humanity, to be of service to other people. You can't be of service into other people if you can't serve yourself and help
Right.
yourself.
You cannot serve others from a hospital bed,
No.
right? For those who are new to me, I shared my story with Dr. Amanda earlier. I built a business that was, I realized now my body was rejecting the business I built, right? It was like going through some type of transplant and having your body say, no, this is not for us. This should not be here. And that's the business that I built, a business that crushed me, that divided me from my family, that actually made me feel further away from my vision and my dreams than before I started. And I think several of us fall into that, just thinking that we need to work into worthiness, thinking that we need to work into the validation. We have to succeed so that the vision doesn't seem crazy. And guess what? The vision is crazy. It is. Nobody's done it because you're supposed to do it, right? Nobody's heard of it because you're supposed to create it. And I think once we step into the ownership of that part, we get to let ourselves off the hook. Like it would seem like, oh, that's so big, I can't. But if we step into the bigness of it, I think that would give us ease. What are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. Like it is your vision, it is your desire. What desire is desire of the Father, right? It's placed to you, it is entrusted in you, it is your
Yeah.
spiritual DNA, something that you need to go for. So
Yeah.
there's no need to chase, it's already yours, right? So
Yeah.
yes, you do need to take action. Yes, there are things that you need to do. You can't just sit on the couch and eating potato chips all day, right? It's not gonna manifest, but it doesn't have to be, have you ever had the experience of like being so into something and so passionate about something and you're like, wow, that was like 5 hours, time
Yeah.
flies, but it didn't cost you energy because you were so into it. You were fueled by another source and another energetic source. So you can do a lot of things in your business from the energy of your desire, and it won't tire you out. You won't be, it's when you get to burnout that you're not in the right business, or don't have the strategies in place to sustain it.
Wow. That is so powerful. And I appreciate just so many gems and it's not like, oh, go out and buy this thing. It's like you already have these things. You already have the ability and the tools to love yourself, to trust yourself. That's the other thing. Trust is not a luxury. Trust is a requirement. You've got to trust yourself. Listen to your intuition. That's going to build that trust. And we have all of these things already at our fingertips, and that's amazing. Those are the things that we overlook when we're, at Amazon and we're downloading all the books and the things. And it's like never once, were we able to be like, let's just put a little trust in our cart. and everything's going to be fine. But that's essentially what we need. We need to trust ourselves, listen to ourselves. That's the part I really want to stress. In a world that tells us in so many different ways that we don't have a voice, or we don't have voice, even in the medical profession, I already know like the things that you faced, and like within that, we've got to set the standard for listening to ourselves. And I think you have given us some powerful tools to do that. And I know that you have gifts that you want to give to the community, and tell us a little bit about what it is that we're going to be sharing with the community, your gift to them.
Sure. But just before that,
Okay.
what you were saying about, sorry, I went into the gifts. But what I wanted to say is that the intuition, the trust, as you said, it's already there. It's not outside of ourselves, right? You don't have to go seek it. It's within you, right? You just need to cultivate it, and then it will become your gift.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I love that.
Um,
I know it's like, no, I got to tell them this one more thing. But no, that is a powerful gift. And that's a revelation that I personally had in the past. I know everyone has different faiths, and, my particular faith is that, there's God. God is. I'm learning now, and I'm being reminded that God is also in, and I've been neglecting the God within in search of the God without. And I know that's not really the word, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that has been very stressful, because it's that pursuit of something external. And it's like, no, just nurture the God that's within you, so that there's a connection from the internal to the external. And like, that's been very powerful. It's been a challenging journey because, I've built up these habits of not doing that. And so now I have to unlearn and relearn and all of the things, but it still boils down to trust.
Yeah.
Trusting what's already inside me, that intuition, that voice, that inner guide, whatever you want to call it, but just trusting that I have my very best, and that's my intention, that I'm going to have the very best ideas, thoughts, habits for me. I'm not going to set myself up for failure. I'm not going to mistreat myself. Like it's almost like getting to know somebody in a new relationship. This whole process has been very interesting, and I feel like it just aligns so much with so many of the things that you've taught us today.
Thank you. So yes, my gift to you. I have a workshop that I did about healing the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve is the master controller of the rest, digest, healing nervous system. And so it's $97 on my website, but with the code intuition, you get it for free.
Wow, thank you so much. Listen, I'm going to get that gift. I'm just going to put that out there, and I hope that you will too. This is just a snippet of the things and the ways that Dr. Amanda supports. So make sure that you stay connected. There's connection links all around the videos, so you can connect with her from our website to different platforms. And also make sure that you take advantage of the gift. This gift that she's given, like she said, to the public, there's a price for it, but she's giving it to us in this community because she knows that we have a desire to shift out of those old habits and into the new. So thank you so much, Dr. Amanda. I appreciate you so much. I know that this was beneficial to our community and to those who are in attendance of the summit. And we can't thank you enough. So for those of you, again, if you just came in or you're watching on the replay, make sure you take advantage and make sure you connect with Dr. Amanda, and we will see you in the next segment.